So, February 11th, 2026. What a day. You had a massive political showdown in India's parliament, a brand new law that could change AI forever, a super controversial trade deal, and a record-breaking cricket match, all happening at once. Today, we're going to connect the dots and show you how these seemingly random events tell a much bigger story. Let's get into it.
You might be looking at this and thinking, what in the world do these things have in common? It seems like a totally random collection of headlines. I get it. But stick with me here. We're going to break down each of these stories, piece by piece, and show you the bigger picture of what's happening.
First up, we're diving straight into the heart of India's democracy, where a political firestorm is brewing. Seriously, the Speaker of the House is facing a full-on rebellion, and the entire parliamentary session is kind of hanging in the balance.
Then, we're going to jump over to the digital world. The Indian government just dropped a massive set of new rules for AI, and trust me, these rules are set to completely change the game for social media companies, forcing them to take way more responsibility for what's on their platforms.
We'll also get into this really controversial new trade deal with the United States that's got the nation divided. Some people see it as a huge opportunity for growth, but for others, it feels like a major threat to millions of farmers and workers. We're going to look at both sides.
And finally, we're going to wrap things up on the cricket pitch with all the action from the T20 World Cup. It was a day full of drama and some absolutely incredible performances, so you're not going to want to miss it. All right, let's dive in.
Okay, our first big story takes us right into the Lok Sabha, the heart of Indian democracy, where a major political drama is playing out.
So, what's all the fuss about? Well, a big coalition of opposition parties called the Bloc has done something pretty dramatic. They're trying to oust the speaker, Birla. They're accusing him of being blatantly partisan, basically that he's picking sides instead of being a neutral ref. Their main complaint? That their leaders are constantly being shut down and not allowed to speak. And this isn't a small thing. Nearly 120 members signed on. This quote from their official notice really tells you everything you need to know about how frustrated they are. They're saying this isn't just a one-time thing. They're claiming there's a pattern here, a pattern they believe is chipping away at democracy itself. Because if you silence the opposition, you're stopping a vital part of the whole process.
And Speaker Birla's reaction? Well, that just added another huge twist. Instead of fighting back, he announced he's stepping away from his duties on moral grounds until this whole thing is sorted out. It's a really surprising move, and people are debating whether it's him admitting fault or just a smart political play to cool things down.
Now, while all that battling is happening in the physical world, the Indian government is also making a massive power play in the digital one. They've got a whole new set of rules for AI and social media that's about to change the internet in India as we know it.
Okay, so the core of all these new rules boils down to this one idea: synthetically generated content. You know, think deepfakes, AI-generated pictures, fake audio clips that sound so real you can't even tell the difference. The government's definition is super broad to cover pretty much everything, and it's the foundation for this whole new era of internet rules.
And here is where things get really serious. Before, social media platforms had a pretty relaxed 24 to 36 hours to take down bad content. Well, not anymore. Under the new rules, they have just 3 hours for anything illegal. And for super sensitive stuff like deep fakes, just 2 hours. This is a huge shift, and it puts a ton of pressure on these companies to police their sites like never before.
So what happens if they don't move fast enough? The government is holding a legal sledgehammer. These platforms could lose their safe harbor status. Now that's basically a legal shield that protects them from getting sued over what their users post. If they lose that, they could be held responsible for every single nasty comment, every piece of fake news, every illegal video. It's an absolute game changer.
All right, so the government isn't just shaking things up online, it's also making some huge moves on the global economic stage. There's a new trade deal with the United States, and it has sparked a massive debate, pitting the promise of economic growth against the fears of a struggling farm sector.
You've really got two completely different ways of looking at this. On one side, the government is saying, hey, this is the best deal we could have gotten, and we'll protect our farmers. But on the other side, the opposition is calling it a total sellout, a one-sided deal that basically sacrifices India's farmers for the benefit of American companies. It's a debate that really gets to the heart of India's place in the world economy.
And look, this isn't just some abstract political argument. It has real-world consequences. The Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir is warning that this deal could absolutely wreck his region's horticulture and dry fruit industry, which is the economic lifeblood for so many people there. It's a powerful reminder that these big trade deals affect everyday people.
And to add another layer to all this, there's a separate deal between the US and Bangladesh that's causing even more problems. Basically, it means Bangladesh will start using American cotton. Why does that matter? Well, it's a direct threat to a nearly $1.5 billion market for Indian cotton exporters. It's just a perfect example of the complicated chess game of global trade.
So that trade deal we just mentioned? It's actually a piece of a much bigger story unfolding right next door in Bangladesh. The country is at a major crossroads, with a huge election coming up that could have massive consequences for the whole region.
After a ton of political unrest, a new interim government is in charge, led by the Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, and he's making a very clear promise with this quote. He's saying their only job is to run a free and fair election, hand over power, and then step aside. It's a real message of hope for a country that's been through a lot.
But here's the thing. There's this really strong feeling of nationalism bubbling up, and it could make things complicated. For a long time, many people in Bangladesh have felt that India has had too much influence in their country, and now that feeling is front and center. Anti-India has become a powerful rallying cry, and being seen as pro-India could be a political death sentence for any candidate.
And you can literally see this mood on the walls of the capital, Dhaka. This slogan has been popping up everywhere. Delhi na Dhaka, Dhaka Dhaka. It means, should Delhi rule or Dhaka? Dhaka rules. It's simple, it's powerful, and it perfectly captures this desire for the country to carve out its own path, without being in the shadow of its much bigger neighbor.
All right, let's switch gears and end on a high note with a trip to the cricket pitch. The T20 World Cup is in full swing, and today's games definitely did not disappoint. We've got a tight finish, an amazing performance, and even a new world record.
Over in Colombo, Pakistan put on a solid show to beat a tough USA team. The star of the match was opener Sahibzada Farhan, who just smashed a 73 to set a big total. And the all-arounder Shadab Khan was brilliant with both the bat and the ball, sealing a comfortable 32-run win.
And now for the really big one, 175. Just let that number sink in. It's a number that's going straight into the T20 cricket history books.
Yep, you heard that right. A brand new T20 World Cup record. New Zealand's openers, Tim Seifert and Finn Allen, were just on another level. They put together an unbeaten 175-run partnership against the UAE. It was an absolutely stunning display of power hitting that fans will be talking about for a long, long time.
So there you have it. From the halls of Parliament to the digital world, from the global market to the cricket pitch, February 11th, 2026 was a day that really showed us all the complex things shaping our world. So the question is, which of these stories will just be a small note in the history books, and which one will we look back on and say, that was the moment everything changed? Only time will tell. Thanks for joining us.